Hey, blessings, grateful family. Welcome in. Welcome back to the Grateful Gab Podcast. Got the daily verse coming, and then we'll be getting into a new section today. We'll be starting section 5 of the lessons you can learn from the Bible book. Right? I'll be getting to the introduction to this next section, and then we'll be looking ahead to lesson 23. So stay tuned to the end. Really looking forward to this lesson today. As we just finished wrapping up the accounts from the section 4 part of this lesson you can learn from the Bible book, right? These last 5 lessons were truly inspirational, very powerful, right? Speaking about the accounts of Jehovah and his chosen people and how we can be able to take practical lessons from that account and how to apply it in our own life. Now we look ahead to more things that we can be able to consider and also you know take valuable information from their actions, from their experiences, and what we need to be able to do to not follow in the paths of those disobedient chosen ones of the Israelites. So today's episode is being brought to you by Sugarcane Sweet Shop. Daily verse for the day of December 17th, 2025 derives from the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 8, and it states as follows: He is holy to Jehovah all the days of his Nazarethship. Amen. And again, it's from the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 8. So again, ladies and gentlemen, section 5 will be in front of us today. We have a beautiful 20, we have 1, 2, 3, we have 6 lessons here in the section 5 of the lessons you can learn from the Bible book. Really looking forward to it. I'm about to get into the introduction, and then our first lesson will be speaking about a promise to Jehovah, speaking about those Israelites after they had just crossed the Red Sea 2 months after their march, right? They're at the base of Mount Sinai and the promises they made to Jehovah. And this whole account is beautiful. It shows power of Jehovah, right? It shows all these type of things. It shows what Jehovah wants. So I'm really looking forward to being able to get into this lesson today. But section 5 gives us a overview of so many wonderful things as well. Key lessons for us to learn, to look out for. As we get into this section, I go over those as well. So, introduction to section 5 states as follows: 2 months after passing through the Red Sea, the Israelites came to Mount Sinai. There, Jehovah made a covenant with Israel to be his special nation. He protected them and provided everything they needed: manna to eat, clothing that did not wear out, and a safe place to live. If you are a parent, help your child to understand why Jehovah gave the Israelites the law, the tabernacle, and the priesthood. Emphasize the importance of keeping our word, remaining humble, and always being loyal to Jehovah. Beautiful, well said, well prepared, well put together by the organization of Jehovah Witnesses, Faithful and Discreet Slave, the governing body. Key lessons for us to consider in this lesson is as follows. In this section, is as follows. When you make a promise to Jehovah, be sure to keep it. And this lesson here is one of the first lessons we're going to get into with lesson 23 of this section, right? Keeping that promise to Jehovah. When you make it, be sure to keep it. It's very important. Pride, selfishness, and rebellion lead to disaster. You can't say that. You can't say that enough. Pride, selfishness, and rebellion leads to disaster. That's so true. And another key lesson we want to be able to make sure and point out in this section is Jehovah was patient with the Israelites and took care of them even when they were unfaithful. It shows Jehovah God's loyal love through disobedience, through rejection, through all these things that he hates. He still has love for his children, the ones he created. So it's a beautiful thing. So let's get into our first lesson of this section, lesson 23, a promise to Jehovah. About 2 months after leaving Egypt, the Israelites arrived at Mount Sinai and set up camp. Jehovah called to Moses, who went up to the mountain, and told him, I saved the Israelites. If they obey me and keep my laws, They will become my special people. Moses went back down and told the Israelites what Jehovah had said. How did they respond? They answered, "We will do everything Jehovah tells us to do." Moses went up the mountain again. There Jehovah said, "In 3 days I will speak to you. Warn the people not to try to come up to Mount Sinai." Moses went down and told the Israelites, "Go get ready to hear from Jehovah." 3 days later, the Israelites saw lightning and dark cloud on the mountain. They also heard loud thunder and the sound of a horn. Then Jehovah came down on the mountain in fire. The Israelites were so afraid that they trembled. The whole mountain shook violently and it was covered in smoke. The sound of the horn got louder and louder. Then God said, "I am Jehovah. You must not worship any other gods." Moses went back up to the mountain, and Jehovah gave him laws for the people about how they should worship him and how they should behave. Moses wrote down the laws and then read them to the Israelites. They promised, "We will do everything Jehovah tells us to do." Yes, they made a promise to God, but would they keep it? Are you enjoying today's episode? This episode of the Grateful Gab Podcast is proudly sponsored by Sugarcane Sweet Shop. At Sugarcane Sweet Shop, every dessert is made with love, creativity, and a sprinkle of sweetness. From the signature cookies and cupcakes to custom cakes for every occasion, Sugarcane is available to make your moments a little more special. Follow them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Sugarcane Sweet Shop to see what's fresh from the oven. And don't forget to treat yourself today. A great scripture for us to take a look at in regards to Jesus' point of view of obeying Jehovah and loving him is found in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 37, where he tells us, he said to him, "You must love Jehovah your God with your whole heart and with your whole soul and with your whole mind." And again, that's from the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 37. So from this account here, this lesson, a promise to Jehovah, do you think the Israelites intended to be able to love Jehovah God with their whole soul, with their whole heart, and with their whole mind? I would say so, right? Just think about this account here that took place at the at Mount Sinai, right? Jehovah God showed a glimpse of his power, not even at full power, just a glimpse of his power. And look at the reaction from these Israelites, right? Jehovah God started with lightning, a dark cloud coming amongst this huge mountain, right? He said they also heard loud thunder and the sound of a horn, the horns blowing out of heavens, right? Can you imagine I don't know what type of horn you can imagine, but can you just imagine something that's so loud already and it gets louder and louder where it can make you deaf, right? It can make you can't even hear anything, right? That was the power Jehovah showed them. That's what he already had showed them experiences of his power from the plagues, experiences of the power from the miracle at the Red Sea, the the fact that we just spoke about how he provided for them with the manna, right? He provided for them they was in the wilderness for 40 years, but their clothes didn't tear, rip, right? Those type of things. I mean, Jehovah, his power was always there. His power was always evident. So I think in the beginning, the Israelites did have it in their mind, did have it in their heart that they wanted to make sure they serve Jehovah God with their whole heart, with their whole mind, with their whole soul, and love him in that manner. But that wasn't the case because the Israelites promised to serve Jehovah God and only him and not worship other gods. That's what Jehovah told them. Jehovah said, "I am Jehovah. You must not worship any other gods." This is directly coming from Jehovah God's voice. This is Jehovah talking to them, not how Jehovah speaks to us today through the scriptures. Jehovah has personally told them, "Don't serve any other God. Only serve me. I'm a jealous God." Right? And as we all know from the historical account of the Bible, we know what the Israelites did and did not do. And it wasn't all of them, but the greater of the ones who left Jehovah was more than a few, right? The greater outweighed the few who were loyal to Jehovah. The greater outweighed that number who were disloyal to Jehovah, who did not serve Jehovah God truly with whole heart, mind, soul, and body. right mind, right? So a beautiful account here, right? And for our day as well, when we dedicate our life to Jehovah God through baptism, it's important for us to stick to that promise. We're promising to serve Jehovah God. We're promising to give Jehovah our life. Our life doesn't belong to us anymore. Our life belongs to Jehovah, right? And we have to be mindful of not serving two masters, just as the scriptures tell us. You cannot slave for two masters. You have to slave for righteousness and slave for Jehovah and hate the things he hate, or slave for riches and uh, go against everything Jehovah God stands for and represents and speaks about and commands from us. So wonderful account here today, right? We was going over this in our theocratic school about 2 months ago, easily 2 months ago. And just think about this scene here at Mount Sinai, right? It talk about this mountain trembling, right? This mountain was shaking, right? All these things were happening here. These Israelites are seeing this. This is an account that for the Israelites who are there on the beginning of this journey in the wilderness, as they have offspring and children, they told their children about this account. They told their grandchildren, their great grandchildren, their how many ever so generations down the line, they told them about this account that the people who weren't there didn't get to experience, and yet they still saw around them worship of false gods, right? Not abiding by Jehovah God's rule, right? Being ungrateful for the things that Jehovah God blessed them with, showing greediness, showing again disrespect, all these type of things, even in the midst of Jehovah providing them safety through this wilderness, giving them blessing them with territory, blessing them with things on their journey to the promised land, right? Jehovah God was doing all this for them. They promised to love him and serve him, but yet they turned their back on him as soon as they didn't receive what they felt like they should have received. So we have to be mindful of when we become a part of Jehovah God's service and we want to be able to do things and accomplish things, and we see ourselves doing stuff in his organization and we don't get those type of assignments or whatever it may be. Don't start turning away from Jehovah because you feel like you're not receiving what you think you want to have. What Jehovah wants for you, he will let you have it. He will give it to you. But we all need to be humble and be modest and understand that Jehovah God is the one who has to say so. So promise when we promise our life to Jehovah, let that be what it is. We promising to give him our life because we love him. And yes, we're imperfect people, but we want to be mindful that we love Jehovah for what he's already done for us, not what he's capable of doing, right? The things he do for us through and through, day and night, right? Life, the loved ones, all those type of things. So just something for us to consider. Also, this account can be found in the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verses 1 through 20, uh, chapter 20, excuse me, yeah, verse 19, uh, verse 19, and also chapter 20. So verse 19, 1 through so the whole book of Exodus chapter 19 and chapter 20. Yeah, so Exodus 19 and 20. This account could be found there, and also the book of Exodus chapter 24, verses 1 through 8. Gives insight to this account as well. So just something for us to be able to think about. Remember what Jesus Christ told us when we're dedicating our life, when we're promising to serve Jehovah. Make sure we're doing it with the intent to do it with, to love Him with our whole heart, our whole soul, and our whole mind. So take care of yourselves. Be blessed, and until next time, peace.